Retailers across New York State are saying that there is a no end in sight to the rising epidemic of organized shoplifting ring and warn it could lead to more store closures, increased costs for consumers, and threats of violence against store employees. Store owners stated that they lost about 4.4 billion last year as a result of retail theft, which they also say added to the urgency of the governor to crack down. However, the governor vetoed a bipartisan bill last week to the anger of many store owners that would have created a task force to combat the organized theft. The governor had rejected a proposal that would have created a 15-member panel made up of experts appointed to the governor legislator and the state attorney general that would have put together a list of recommendations to respond to retail theft. The Retail Council of New York State, the Albany-based lobbying group represents retailers statewide, stated that, quote, "It is extremely disappointing." Melissa O'Connor, the president and the CEO of the group, released a statement stating that she urged the governor to take immediate action so to formulate an effective collaborative response to the problem. Quote, she made it abundantly clear that retail theft prevention will be a priority for her administration, and we look forward to working with her to achieve this result. A spokesperson for the governor stated that adopting the proposal would have cost the state $35 million and expenditures wasn't allotted in the most recent budget. Law enforcement officials from New York City to Albany to Syracuse have reported increases in incidences of retail theft, blaming the spike on progressive prosecution who encourage criminal behavior with lenient punishments for shoplifters. Last month, the chief of police in Syracuse stated that the city has seen a 55% spike in shoplifting since 2021, and that's a conservative estimate. Quote, that number is likely higher because businesses often don't report it, but they do continue to express concerns. Seeley also warned that small businesses are having trouble sustaining themselves in the face of shoplifting campaigns. One local pharmacy chain in Syracuse alone suffered a loss of more than $250,000 per year due to the epidemic of organized retail theft. So far this year, the Albany Police Department has filed 23 calls for larceny at a single Stewart's convenience store on Central Avenue, up from 14 at the time of 2022. The rash of retail thefts at the location forced the owner to shut down. Quote, retail theft at convenience stores throughout the state is not as organized as at some other retailers, but it is dangerous and impactful. My members have reported theft that leaves stores in shambles as criminals seek cigarettes, lottery tickets, and anything can get in their hands. In fact, one store reported a theft through a pot of coffee at a clerk, also adding that his trademark group, quote, stands ready to work with the state and local authorities and other business groups control of this issue. As of November 19th, Albany police have arrested nearly 2,300 people for larceny, and nearly 340 people have been accused of motor vehicle theft. That's well above the 5-year average of 2,057 arrests for larceny and 281 for motor vehicle theft. So this is just a snippet from the larger bits of information that I have directly from the FBI. And I completely understand that some people are going to look at this and be like, aha, see, I told you, I know exactly who's specifically doing all of this crime, right? So let's just start from the beginning, right? It says robbery, right? Caucasian is 43.4%, Black and African American 54.5%, right? So right there, people would just stop to be like, aha, I knew, I don't know, I don't need to know any other numbers. I don't need to go anywhere else. I know specifically who is committing and doing a lot of these crimes, right? But then as we keep going, we look at aggravated assault. Caucasian, 62.8%. Black and African American, 33.3%. Burglary. Caucasian, 68.4%. Black and African American, 29.1%. Larceny theft, which was again mentioned directly in the article. Caucasian, 69%, pretty much rounded up to 70. Black and African American, 27.7%. Motor vehicle theft, which was also mentioned. Caucasian, 66%. Black and African American, 30.7%. Right? And then you have the other ones directly down there. So when people decide that they don't want to look at the totality, that they don't want to look at the whole of the problem of the situation, people will get hung up specifically on the one thing that they realistically want to see and the only thing that they want to understand, which coincides with what it is that their initial feeling or point may be. But once you have the information and you're able to look at every single thing, you get a larger scope. You get a fuller understanding of where the problem lies, right? And why it is that these governments refuse to specifically and potentially act on wanting to make a task force. This is why they stated in an article that it was voted down by the governor, of why the governor didn't specifically want to do this. Because I'm pretty sure that the governor could have asked of more money specifically from the government in order to fix this specific problem in New York. I'm pretty sure somehow, some way, they could have easily gotten that money, but that's not what the governor wanted to do. The governor wants to let this ride out a little bit longer, because what people don't understand, so the thing that people don't understand is the fact that the government for a very long period of time has been trying to limit or take away options. So normally we would have brick and mortar stores, right? But magically we had the pandemic that pretty much shut down a lot of mom and pops, and it horribly affected a lot of other retailers, which stopped them from being able to open their doors because you had to be 6 feet. People really couldn't be close, and all of these other types of things. It even put a huge hindrance when it dealt with schools and how it is that those kids were growing up, and the social anxiety and how it is that they would communicate with one another, right, in society. So that took a great toll on a lot of things. So because that took place, they were able to usher in certain things, such as having digital stores. And what I mean by that is this: exactly what you see directly in front of you. This is more than likely the second, third, or how many other stores that they have directly in New York. They're trying to prepare for people to be used to going cash free, to only using their phones or other electronics in order to get the things that they need. Now, and what I told people before, this is the problem. I am for technology, but I'm also for people having a variety of choices. If the power goes out, how are you going to get those things? How are you going to get that food, right? If you need your phone in order to do all of these things, how specifically are you going to go grocery shopping? And along with these larger stores, they like to buy up smaller stores and consolidate those directly into their being. So again, it's very hard to escape this when this is something that is allowed, because all you have to do is offer some people some money, like a mom and pop. Let's see, if they only make 250K, and then Amazon or whoever offers them, like, you know what, we like what it is that y'all are doing here, but we feel that we can, do a little bit more. We're going to offer you $1 to $2 million, right? They'll do something like that. And what mom and pop shop is going to say no to $1 to $2 million? A lot of people are not going to say no to that, because they can do a lot with that, especially if they're very good at managing money. They can very easily do, stuff like that. Finally take the vacation, go and get a modest home, and, live the way that they wanted to live, right? So this has been happening all the time. It's just that a lot of people are not really paying attention, and people are not observing the fact that the government is making sure to limit the options that you specifically have. And they're doing that in a multifaceted way, one of which is they're allowing and enabling people to steal. They're not really putting them in jail or prison. They're not making them do any type of community service. There's not really any type of pushback from the government, because, as I told people before, the way that the government works is that they're going to enable or create a problem so that they can be the cure for that said problem. And their cure is to make sure that people are going to go digital, to make sure that it's going to be as hard as possible for people to just go in and get the necessary items that they need. And they're going to monitor and watch directly everything. Like I said before, people need to go back and look at the Fed now. I'm pretty sure that people forgot all about that being a part of the system, and how that's going to be used to usher in a lot of other things that people told you were bad, right? So again, 2024 is going to be a very interesting year, and a lot of people need to pay very close attention, and they need to start reading up on a lot of things.